Yeah, this is one of the best Star Treks, I believe, out there. And like Lance said, there's not only is the music great, but there's elements of the horror, there's action, there's reconciliation between Kirk and his long-lost family, and all these different things that end up happening. And even the friendship, the heightened tension of the friendships. It's just good drama, it's good action. It's probably one of those happen to just all come together. And that's just all we can say about it, really. Trek 2.
Little ones.
You can hear me all right?
Yeah, how's Alabama?
It's hot.
It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I'm getting so hot.
It's all right. I mean, it's not too bad, actually. Been wearing a lot of shorts and just enjoying that.
Yeah, get ready to. You got to hibernate part of your clothes for a while.
At least I'll get to wear it at some point, but I'm gonna miss my hoodies.
That is one thing I do miss is again, not getting cold at night and putting your hoodies on. Around here, no such thing. I mean, the kids wear hoodies. The ones from Florida, but I can't. I'm too hot.
Yeah,
Too hot.
it's just too hot. No, mom and dad were here, and man, we were sweating our butts off when we first were unpacking everything, because July is the best time to move. But
I know you guys picked a weekend, I tell you.
Well, Matt needed us here and our landlord needed us out, so now I got to find ways to make money. All that crap, but it's all right.
Money's overrated.
Yeah, yep. It's definitely interesting. I was like, at church, it's the land of shorts and polo shirts with the guys. They wear those polo shirts all the time, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. There's certain things that you can get in with the culture, and other ones you're like, no. Like there's if you look up Florida haircut, and it's pretty funny. You'll get these guys with the side shaved and kind of the long hair like mine, but I'm a respectable northerner, so I keep it long everywhere.
Yeah, no, I'll probably keep it short. That's the way Sandra likes it, and I got it just the way I like it. Just need to get a nice barber now. But
well, you know who else had a nice short haircut?
Who?
He had pointed ears and green blood.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and our new movie that we're reviewing. What's the movie, Lance?
It's not Khan. It's The Wrath of Khan. Khan. Star Trek. This movie, I've been so excited to review it. It's been one that it's my favorite Star Trek movie, I think. It's probably my favorite Star Trek movie. And it's got to be probably the best reviewed Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of stuff going for it in this one. After the first movie they came out with, the motion picture, it's surprising they had such a good turnaround for this.
Yeah, I think was it different writers. Nicholas Myers was the director, and just because it felt so slow in the first one, and we'll get around to doing that one too. And I mean, there's lots of visual things in that movie in the first one, motion picture, but this one just action after action after action. And The Wrath of Khan, I would agree with you, Lance. It's probably my favorite and probably the best. Like you said, best Star Trek movie, I think, out there. Some people might disagree with the reincarnation of Star Trek with, Christopher Pine or Chris Pine and all those other guys. I mean, that was a good movie too, but I don't know. You just can't touch The Wrath of Khan. I don't know how else you can slice it. But tell us more about it, Lance.
Well, man, we have our favorite composer back, and I'm not going to screw up his name this time. It's James Horner. And man, a soundtrack can add just so much. Yeah, Jim Horner.
Jim.
It can really just bring a movie together and give you the emotional feels and heighten the tension exactly when you need it.
Yeah.
And even this movie's got a lot of stuff going for it. It's got some action. It's got the brotherly love component to it with Spock and Captain Kirk, and then you get some of that thriller, slight horror when they're checking some things out, and you just get some great music from James Horner.
Yeah.
He heightens it, brings it all together. And I think that's a big reason probably why I like this movie so much.
Oh,
But
yeah.
with that being said, it's well directed and they got some gosh darn good dialogue and some great quotes from the characters.
Yeah, they also inserted a lot of I don't know if you noticed this. Khan recites a lot of Shakespeare. Kirk recites Charles Dickens at the end. There's other like quotes that have been said, and there's so many things you can walk away with. I mean, even just the comedy part of it. When I was watching it, and Spock goes, "Be careful, Jim," and Bones goes, "We will," because he's going with them. Like, what about me, you turd?
Be careful.
We will.
Turd.
Well, and in the original series, who was always the ones that went down to the planet? Like, it didn't matter. Like, it could have been the weirdest situation or like really normal. Who goes down on the planet? It's Kirk, Spock, and Dr. McCoy. I don't know why those three, but it was always those three. You had the first and second in command on the planet. It was kind of strange.
Yeah. And usually a red shirt to die. There's a red shirt to die.
Yeah. If the red shirts were coming, you knew it was going to be a good episode because somebody was going to get hacked off or something.
He gone. But no, this is one of the best Star Treks I believe out there. And like Lance said, there's not only is the music great, but there's elements of the horror. There's action. There's reconciliation between Kirk and his long lost family, and all these different things that end up happening. And even the friendship, the heightened tension of the friendships, it's just good drama. It's good action. It's just probably one of those. It just happened to just all come together, and that's just all we can say about it. Really, is that when a movie comes together and you know it. I mean, we've watched movies like that before, and we're like, yeah, like The Goonies is one of those ones, or The Sandlot, or other ones that you're just like, this movie just came together as all that it needed to be. But yeah, it's Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. It's the only thing is the terrible title when it says Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. That doesn't live up very well now. Sequels don't have the two after it most of the time. Sometimes they do, but we're pretty content with naming sequels differently. And it's Star Trek 2. But
yeah, I mean, it definitely could have been Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, but that I guess that's maybe not how they did things back then. You had Superman, and then Superman 2, and Superman 3, Superman 4. Those all would have been around that same era.
That's true. Although these movies did have they always had a good subtitle. It wasn't like Star Trek 3, Star Trek 4. And it was just, no, we're going to name it because it's an episode. In a sense, it's a longer episode. And this is actually, if people don't know, it's the first of a trilogy. I don't know how much it was planned, but this is the first of a trilogy that plays out with the search for Spock being that in between. That's not as great. It's okay. It's a watchable movie, but the Voyage Home ends up just bringing it all together. So if you go through those three, you could watch it as a trilogy and just be good with that, because the Final Frontier gets rough. But that's a William Shatner directed film.
He saw his buddy Spock, Leonard Nimoy, going and making a good movie. He's like, you know what? I think I could possibly make a good one too.
Oh my gosh! Did you know William Shatner? He went up to space, and for one of those flights, those voyages that lasted only a few minutes, and he came back down. So,
well, yeah, I think technically he's one of the oldest people in space. Is that correct?
Probably right. Yeah,
I think he went up at 90 or 91. I mean, that was.
Yep. He's still alive. He still does cons. I think. Yeah.
Wow. You got to stay young somehow.
I guess.
It's amazing. It's him and the guy that plays Chekhov. I think they might be and George Takei.
Oh my.
Yeah, they're the only three of the big 6 or 7 or whatever they were.
Yeah, that big
left.
That's true. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was there anybody else? This movie though had a lot of firsts in it, which was interesting. it really brought out that horror. But one of the other firsts was actually, I think here's a couple of them. Khan comes back. We don't really see characters come back in Star Trek too often up to this point. Khan comes back. If anybody's seen Space Seed, it's a really good episode. Granted, it's the 60s. Just move past that. But it's a good episode. That's where it's from, Space Seed. And if you want more backstory on Khan, and when he talks about his wife and all that stuff. And then another first is Kirstie Alley's big debut. Although Kirstie Alley's character, I like Robin Wright, or no, maybe I'm saying her name wrong. Whoever takes over Saavik for the next two, I like her much better. Not to say that Kirstie Alley wasn't a good actress, just as Saavik. There was some weird things. But there's a couple first there, and the first time we see Kirk's son, first time we see Kirk's long lost love, Carol Marcus, and which I don't know if she ever appears in any other episodes. I don't believe so. And so there's a lot of firsts here that are really great, and but it's a lot of fun to go from there.
Yeah, I don't know if someone can look back into the Star Trek lore of the original series. I don't remember Carol Marcus in any of the episodes I watched, but I could be off on that. That could have just been a storyline they brought up for this movie. The interesting thing about Kirstie Alley as Saavik, apparently, if you look into like the Star Trek nerdery of all of it, she's half Vulcan and half Romulan. So when you see her kind of tearing up or letting off some emotion, it's her Romulan side that is that. So in the movie, they don't ever say that. You just assume she's a Vulcan, but you see some more free expression from her than you would ever see from Spock.
Right. And no one would ever, because when I was watching it, she'd be like, or like, and then she had said the word damn, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
These are some weird choices. Yeah, she's a more emotional.
And then the person that took over for her, Robin, whatever her last name is, sorry, Robin, she plays it more like a strict Vulcan.
She does.
And so, again, I was looking into the lore, and one of the questions that was asked about the search for Spock was, does Saavik mate with Spock? And the answer, you'd be interested to know, because I'm pretty sure we're not going to review The Search for Spock. It's not that great, but I like it. I love it. It's not good. It'd be like Masters of the Universe. And anyway, the answer is yes, they do mate, because he's going through this thing called Bonfire. However you want it. Yeah. And for him not to die or go crazy, he has to mate. So there you go. It was always kind of like, what are they doing? And then apparently they did their little finger thing and like, okay, we're gonna get in it.
That's the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah.
But speaking of Romulans, I got the Romulan ale here.
Hey, it's illegal. Didn't you know that?
Romulan ale. Why, Bones, this is illegal.
I only use it for medicinal purposes.
Yeah, right, Bones. Yeah, right. Actually, that interaction between them is one of the better drama moments, where Kirk is already wrestling with some things, and McCoy knows. McCoy's his doctor, and he gets frustrated with him, and twice, both of his friends say during the movie where, because Kirk's wrestling with this thing, he wants to be in command, but he's this admiral, he thought he was taking the right career path, and both McCoy in that moment when they're at Kirk's home, and then later on Spock, they both say, you got to get your command back. This is who you are. You need to do this. And you see that exemplified in the movie later on. Kirk takes control, and he's Captain Kirk. He's just Captain Kirk. And and it was something that tension was building, even in the scene where he's like space talk, and he's like, McCoy says, you want a tranquilizer? He's shaking his head.
Yeah, there's some fun, subtle humor things in this movie, because it is a high tension action movie, but you get that subtle humor, which I think fits it perfectly. It's enough where it's not going to go overboard or make it be like quack 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 quack, yuck yuck yuck. And and a lot of people have strong opinions about William Shatner as Captain Kirk and this and that. He's probably always my favorite character. I can always see, maybe not myself in that thing, but I'll be like, yeah, I'd follow that guy. And I enjoy watching him portray Captain Kirk. And yeah, I think they just always did such a good job in those movies, except for maybe The Final Frontier. But I was going to get to the quotes. I like what Spock had told Kirk. He goes, "Your first and best destiny is being a Starfleet commander.
Captain,
having a controlled starship."
Yeah.
If I may be so bold, it was a mistake for you to accept promotion. Commanding a starship is your first best destiny. Anything else is a waste of material.
I would not presume to debate you.
That is wise.
Yeah. And I think for me, one of the first ones in the movie, I don't think it gets caught on as well, but when Kirk says to Saavik, how we deal with death is at least as important how we deal with life, meaning we have to deal with this. This is a reality that people will die, that you will die, that I will die, and we have to treat it with some sort of amount of importance, and that there could be no way out of this. Now he goes on to say later in the movie that he doesn't believe in a no-win scenario, but I think it's really important. That's such a teachable moment and such a good quote. I used it in a paper one time for college, just because it was just that good, and the dialogue was just killer in that moment. But yeah, what's another quote that you appreciated?
I mean, what is that? I can't think of it right now, but I looked up some of Khan's quotes, and I thought they were Shakespeare too. And I'm not going to throw you under the bus here, but they are from actually Moby Dick, and I think that's actually
you're right.
and that's actually pretty awesome in my
You're right.
opinion, because Khan, he is Captain Ahab.
The white whale.
He's all about revenge, revenge, because he's going after the guy who took his foot and or his leg. I don't know what the
leg.
The full story is. And so here, Khan's quote right at the end, right when he's going down with his ship, just like how Ahab was going down with Moby Dick. "To the last, I will grapple with thee from hell's heart. I step for a hate's sake. I spit my last breath at thee." It's just great dialogue. Khan does not get enough credit. I mean, that guy kept his body from Space Age all the way into this movie, and this was fantastic. My wife was watching the movie, and she was seeing the part where Khan reveals himself, and such a great reveal too. Kind of that little thing going across, and gets his turban off and takes off his hat, and then you see his bare chest, and man, he's got pecs. And even Amanda was like, "Whoa, is that his real body?" That guy's like 60 something.
Yeah. He I know that he was that was commented on in a lot of different things I've seen. It's like, I think some of the cast and crew at the time were like, "Is he really that ripped?"
Yeah. If my daughter was watching the movie, she would have said, "Mommy milk."
He does have some major pecs though, but Ricardo Montalban is not like I just don't think he just wasn't as well known. I'm sure he's done theater and all those things, and he did some Planet of the Apes, and he did another movie I know of, but he did some of the Spy Kids stuff later on, and he was actually pretty clever in that. But he's such a good bad guy. Just the amount of hate that you see in his eyes, and Spacey doesn't do it justice. But I don't know if you knew this, Lance. There's a podcast out there, and it's actually like more like a radio show. It's on, you can find it on Apple Podcasts, called Khan, and it goes to the story of like what happened after Khan and his crew were dropped off on that planet SETI Alpha 5. What happens? And they actually create a story. George Takei and the guy who played Tuvok star in that as well, and it's actually really good. You got to pay attention because it's an audio only, but it's really good. So it tells the story. It's actual canon now. It's part of the thing. And so check it out. I enjoyed it. It's a short little drama, but yeah. But the other quote I really like at the end, where Kirk is quoting Charles Dickens when he says, "It's a far, far better place I go, and it's far, far better." I can't remember. I swear, but he's something than I ever known, and he was just talking about, he's talking about death as well, and all these things, and it's how he's mourning in that moment.
It's a far, far better thing I do than I have ever done before. A far better resting place I go to than I've ever known.
moment. But that, yeah, there's some great quotes throughout that whole film that you got to pay attention to. And you could quote that movie on and on and on. But anyway,
yeah, I mean, the movie, it's got some good themes. It's talking about being old and young. It got the revenge aspect, obviously, and oh shoot, I can't remember the last point I was going to make, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So what did you think of some of the action scenes in there?
I mean, it's funny because you see there's old trickery things where the camera's shaking and they have to pretend, but the action part of it I think is fun because you see these two ships go head to head and it's just this clash of the titans. And what's funny is Kirk and Khan never meet head on in the same room.
Yeah.
It's and the action always takes place on the ship, and so you never see like a lot of fighting except between when Kirk kicks his son's butt. but yeah, I still love it. It's probably some of the best Star Trek action out there. It seems like it's kind of slow, but I think it's good, and it's a little dated, but it's not bad. I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I still love it, when you're seeing the torpedoes firing at each ship, and this Star Trek movie, compared to all the other ones, this one has a lot more lasers. Not lasers, phasers. Yeah, and that to me is enjoyable because you kind of see the kind of damage they do to the ships, and you don't really see that in the movies. I know in the show I think they use their phasers quite a bit, but in the movies I always remembered like fire photon torpedoes and all that. Putting bodies in photon torpedoes.
Right. Yeah, but oh my gosh. So yeah, I was gonna say too, the one guy who doesn't get a lot of credit is Joachim, Khan's second in command. His name is Joachim. They say it in the audio drama, but he actually is like Khan's like moral compass. He knows that the revenge is important, but he's also like, hey, we got to stay on track. But a lot of times you see Khan is just kind of old and tired, and he's been so fixated on revenge that he doesn't care anymore. So that actor actually, I think he doesn't get enough credit. I think he's actually really good. He's kind of invisible, and that's where he's supposed to be. So actually he did his job. He did his job. And I don't know if you knew this, both Kirk's son David, the guy who played David, I can't remember his name, and that guy that plays Joachim, they actually appeared in a Star Trek Next Generation episode together. And as kind of as kind of enemies again. And yeah, it's interesting. You got to go check it out. I can't remember the name of the episode, but they appear in an episode together.
So, there you go.
Yeah, I'm looking for him. I'm trying to find him right now. I'm just wasting time on here. So yeah, David does a good job. I enjoy his character. Actually, one of my favorite scenes, it's a short one, and there's not too much going on, but it's after Reliant. That's the other starship, just in case nobody knows this movie. They're heading over to the science center. I don't know what they call it exactly.
Regular one.
Regular one. Yes, man, I should know that after Nichelle or Uhura kept saying it over and over again. And they're heading there, and so there's this dialogue that's happening between all the scientists and Carol and David, and they're trying to figure everything out. And it's just the way the camera is just slowly rotating around the whole room.
Oh yeah.
And I in my opinion, it was kind of like this fun cinematography that you get to enjoy. I don't know if it's great. I don't have an eye for that, but I enjoy that scene because it almost looks modern. You could watch that scene and you wouldn't really know, other than like their clothes, that it's like a early 80s, maybe late 70s movie.
Yeah, no, I think that actually was it brought you in, and they had to play the scene together. That doesn't always happen in movies. They have to play the scene together, and so there's this whole thing. I think that's a great observation. Although all those people died.
Yeah, they gave their lives, right? There's only one person that gets a funeral.
Yeah. Was it the captain goes, he slit their throats, he went wild, he was going to tear them to bits or something, and I was like, I would hate to meet,
but he had to get back to you to blow you to bits.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man, can you imagine being those guys, Chekhov and the captain, with those things in your ears and being so submissive, and you're just going wild, and I can't even imagine how that would have been.
Yeah, those scenes, I was like, you know what? This has like Star Wars written all over it.
Yeah.
And it was Imagine Illumination. I can't remember what George Lucas's puppetry thing was, but I think it was under that umbrella. Was Star Wars kind of effects with those characters, with those
Industrial Light and Magic, is that
Industrial Light and Magic? Yeah, and that's what it was. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, I wonder if that's Frank Oz kind of doing that with the little alien thing.
Yeah, that's true.
The young come out of its pack.
That's true.
Yeah, you never know. It could have been a Yoda voice going, why are you taking my babies?
Actually, it was just the intern. They're like, hey, we just need you to go in there and go. Wah! You're like, oh,
yeah, it's just a little bit of this little thing, but it is a fun little scene, and it is like, it kind of gives you that weird gross factor.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. Khan says these are pets, of course, and I'm like, of course.
Well, and it's got one of Khan's most like quoted lines, or ones that people like to quote. And my beloved wife.
I like where he's like, there, that's better. I'm like, it's what?
Now, why are you here?
Yeah.
I like it. That you get a lot from that. You get to see how smart Khan is, and he's transparent. He's not. There's no like lying in him. He just knows he's better than you, because he looks at the captain of the Reliant, Terrell, and he goes, "I don't know you." And then, but you, I never forget the face. And Mr. Chekhov. And then it's not only that. He's kind of like, he's like, I don't have anything I can give you guys, but I want to know why you're here. Then he picks up Chekhov by just with one arm, and it's like, whoa, like that guy he's been working out in that desert sand.
Well,
of Sydney Alpha 5.
he's what was it, the eugenics, and you know what, it's funny, that's supposed to take place in 1996.
That's right.
Apparently wrong universe, but
I'm a little bummed that they don't have Australian accents, because I think they're from Botany Bay, and that's in Australia.
Oh, it was a penal colony
around that area.
Yeah. Supposedly it was lots of different countries. I don't know. The lore behind it is a little fuzzy to me, it feels like, but it's enough to send you into like, yeah, these guys will kick my butt for sure. And they all look like they're tough, and they all look like they were some sort of like younger generation. I think Khan was maybe one of the older ones to begin with, but it feels like maybe they were some sort of younger generation that was brought up, and the older ones probably died out or something happened to them. But
well, yeah. So if you remember, they were in like those sleeping capsules.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing they're still in their hyper sleep or space sleep, or I don't know what you call it. But remember, Khan was the only one that was awake, and they're like, well, we can't wake up the rest of them, right? Because his crew will take over the whole spaceship. I don't know if you in Space Seed when him and Kirk are fighting. Like, it's always so funny. It's a spaceship, and then all of a sudden you have this huge arena, literally an arena, like in the engine room, where there's nothing around, so there's plenty of place for them to like kind of roll around like it's a gymnastics mat or something.
Well, and since high def reveals all, you can see that that's not William Shatner, and that's not Ricardo Montalban. And you're like, oh, look at those. I
always love Kirk's fighting style. He's got the two fists and popping you, hitting you in the back. It's like
that always looked like it. Yeah, it's more like WWE wrestling, really. In the end,
yeah. Star Trek is WWE.
Oh yeah, like here's how you can fight without actually hurting each other, but it looks tough. So why don't you go do that? But now we're getting too far into Space Seed. But
well, yeah. So let's go back to the movie. So. But that does remind me of, when the spaceships do get hit by like a torpedo or the phasers, you see people fly across the room, and there's like this cloud of smoke, and then you see the sparks, because they can't have like real fire and those things. But it's always so funny because the camera will kind of tilt over and everybody will go, woo! It's like they're doing gymnastics in there.
Okay, everybody, you have to fly through the air.
Well, and that's the other thing. No matter where like the things are hitting, there's always just random people walking around in the spaceship not doing their job. They're just like, I'm just walking through the hall. Ah!
Yeah. Shouldn't you have been at a station? What are you guys doing? What in the
Yeah, there's not that many of you. Like, there's things to do, like be in the engine room or
Nope,
maybe the command center, like, get some stuff done.
This is actually the best place where we can blow you up.
Walk in the hall. Yeah, we need you really to like just walk in the hall.
You're running, you're going to the bathroom, you're going to poop, and you just get blown up.
Maybe they were scared poopless. That could have been what was going on. Like, just space battle. I gotta go to the bathroom.
I gotta go. My favorite parts in the movie is the reconciliation of Carol and Kirk. And you obviously see there was still some tension, and she was mad at him. Like, why would you bring this up in this way? I wanted him in my life. How can you even say this to me? You were never around. You know, you didn't even want to be here. But in the end, I think that she was like, there's still some sort of connection they were able to make, and it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel weird. They were just like, they just knew each other, and they obviously had loved each other and were intimate in a really unique way, you know, like a married couple could have been. And, you know, it is funny how he is very much like his dad. You can see that, you can feel it in the tension of him and David, but Carol just really is just like, I just want to make, this is our life. Here we are. And they just end up reconciling, and it doesn't take long. There's not this huge drawn out thing. I just think it's a special moment that needed to happen, breaks down the ice. And then later on, you see David and Kirk, where David had thought he was just a jerk, and he finds out his dad is nothing like that. His dad is actually somebody unique, somebody that has leadership qualities, that is imperfect for sure, but knows what he's doing, and is somebody to be under and live under and enjoy the relationship together. So those are those tender moments that I found, besides the last one or with Kirk and Spock. But those are those reconciliation moments that I think kind of help tie that movie together. Otherwise, that whole thing would have been just weird, and you're like, they wouldn't reconcile. They would have kept fighting. I don't know. Sometimes fighting doesn't always bring out the best. Sometimes you already know that there's tension, so they're just breaking it down.
Yeah, that is a great scene. And there was something I did with this time watching the movie that I'd never done before. I put the subtitles on just because I know the movie, I know the scenes. Yeah. I don't even have to watch it. I can just hear it, and I know exactly where they're at, what they're doing, what their facial expressions are.
Yeah.
And sometimes the subtitles this time helped because I could actually see what Kirk was saying, even though I couldn't exactly hear what he was saying. And when he's talking to Carol, he's thinking about his life. And remember, he's going through this, I'd say like a midlife crisis as a captain. He goes, I don't know my destiny anymore. Like instead of being a space captain, I could have been a father. I could have been with you guys, but I chose this other destiny. And you hear him quietly say, my son. And it's like, oh, like there's like this tender, like you see the wheels turning about, like, he's like, I missed out. Like there's things that I can't take back, but he's also a space captain now. He's got other priorities. And I think you see him take it all in stride. Like he doesn't start to weep and cry like, oh, you know, like that's the thing about the Chris Pine, that character in the new Star Trek movies I couldn't stand, is like those movies are so emotional, and I do enjoy them because there's a lot of fun action, and they are definitely up to date, so there's some really enjoyable things. But Spock just annoyed the crap out of me in those ones, just because it's like, you're not a Vulcan, you're just some guy that's stronger than a human with like pointy ears, like and you're smart, you know. And then Chris Pine, just, I don't know, he's got clown face all over him. I don't know, I couldn't,
he's
you
goofy.
Know, like there wasn't like this true poise of I'm a Starfleet captain. Like Kirk or William Shatner was able to portray that, especially in this movie.
Yeah,
because even when Spock dies, you see he's distraught. He's facing death for the first time.
Yeah,
but he doesn't lose his poise too much.
Yeah, I mean, I know William Shatner had done some more serious theater. You know, he was friends with Christopher Plummer. And Christopher Plummer eventually takes on the role of General Kang in The Undiscovered Country, and he quotes script or Shakespeare, and I know that's true.
Yes.
So, but
cry havoc and unleash the dogs of war. Yeah,
but Christopher Plummer and him were buddies, and they were Canadians in Canadian theater things, and so they had done a lot of theater together. So, you know, I think that helps in some of those moments, as that poise. And you know, that's why if you look at The Next Generation, Picard, who's portrayed by Patrick Stewart is doing, I'm sure, theater, Shakespeare all the time, and just that strong poise. Just, you needed a people like that The same way I think, I'm not sure about Deep Space Nine, but for me, Kate Mulgrew is a great person too. I don't know what she's done necessarily, but she was on a soap opera, and those can be kind of very emotional in their poise and all these different things. You just need strong people that are able to pull those types of characters off in the way they need to go. And I just feel like they nailed it in the first, things like that. Even somebody like who's ends up being Christopher Pike in the new Strange New Worlds. That's actually a pretty good show. I can't remember the guy's name, but he actually pulls it off really well too. Just a great Pike. And anyway, that's a different story for a different day. But
that's the one scene that everybody probably remembers the movie about. It's the one character that you actually don't want to die, because even though Spock, you watch him throughout the movie, he always seems like he's a dry piece of wood or a plank of wood, where he's just kind of doing his thing, and he's like super logical. And it's like, well, why is Spock so enjoyable? But he is. Like,
he is. Yeah.
He's kind of, as much as I'd say Kirk is the heart of the show, he's nothing without Spock. Yeah. And even with that, with the Doctor, like they're like the three-legged stool. You kind of need all three of them to get the job done.
Yeah.
And I mean, once you get to that scene where Spock is gone and they're talking about the needs. I mean, this is the biggest quote of the movie: "The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one." Like, the quote comes back up again, and you kind of see Spock's logic there, and it's his way of doing the Kobayashi Maru test. What'd you think of my solution?
I never took the Kobayashi Maru test. Till now. What do you think my solution? Spock. I have been, and always shall be, your friend. Live long and prosper.
Yeah.
Like, you guys can all make it out, but I don't. Like, I guess this is the end for me.
Yeah.
And like, it brings up, like, it's Star Trek really isn't a show that you cry at with or anything like that. It's like something, it's an enjoyable adventure, maybe gets you to think about something scientifically or like imagine space. You don't get like a heartfelt emotion from Star Trek, but you do when they put him in the casket or the photon torpedo, like I like to say. And Kirk is giving his speech, and his best line, of all the souls that I've met across my travels, his was the most human. And it gets you like, if you were in a mood to cry, you could cry at that and be like, yeah, that was satisfying.
Cried at that scene and when Spock dies many times. Because I'm a big baby, but I think you're right.
Babyface Richards over there.
No, I don't cry as much as I used to, but I'm drying up here. But
cry, baby.
One of the things they did at the end of the movie where Spock does the space, the final frontier, those, they actually were alluding that they were thinking about or possibility of like the next one with him returning. But it was, nobody had known at the time whether it was going to happen or not. And I think, it was a nice tease, but it was if you would have ended Star Trek there, it would have been fine. Like, it would have been, nobody would have said anything. They would have loved it. And fortunately they didn't, because there's a great many films after shows. They made several films with the Next Generation. And I think it's in large in part because of the Wrath of Khan. The Wrath of Khan saved Star Trek, I would probably say.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if they were considering doing a Star Trek show again. They had only done the original series and the cartoon, which supposedly is canon. It's a little, it's funny, but it's a little silly. But like when they did the movie, the first one, it flopped so bad, and they're like, "Can we even do a second one?" And they decided to do it. And that trilogy saved the whole Star Trek franchise, and otherwise we wouldn't have Star Trek as it is today. Many other shows have flopped on Star Trek, but nothing like that saved the movie and franchise. But
yeah, I mean, really, the Wrath of Khan, especially after the first flop of the motion picture, like Star Trek hadn't been around for 10 years, and they're like, well, maybe we can make a movie. So the motion picture comes out, and you get to see the Enterprise all brand new, except they take 30 minutes to do all the shots, and it's like, okay,
Yep.
all right,
Yep.
like move on, like, and it doesn't move on. And the Klingons in that movie are hilarious to look at.
Yeah.
But that was supposed to be Star Trek's triumphant return. But the original series, like the first season was good, and then the other two, and maybe there's a fourth. I think there's only three.
No, there's three.
Three, yeah. It just fell off. I mean, it was not very popular. It was just a show to watch because it was on TV about sci-fi stuff. It was never all that amazing. And so really Wrath of Khan definitely outdid itself. These are never, like, when you look at movies and budgets, these are not really hard movies to make, other than the time, like, you got this little model in space and you got the little lasers, and really they're in one scene. Like, there's like maybe like 4 rooms. They got you got the engineering room, you've got the command control center,
Yeah.
and then you've got whatever little planet they want to go to where they got to show a couple little things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it definitely stopped at the right time for it to make its way back. And I think the next generation, if we would go down this road, the next generation saved the part of the franchise with it being episodic. And Deep Space Nine and Voyager were huge shows as well. They all ran for 7 seasons, which is good, which is a long time. Some people think 7 seasons isn't long, but I mean, compared to like a show like SVU or something, but 7 seasons is actually a decent amount of time for an hour run show. These people work 14-hour days and things like that. So it's crazy, but I think Star Trek now is the only part of it that I would get frustrated about is when it starts to lean towards a political thing or some sort of idea, and that just doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, just stay on the straight and narrow of what you've been doing this whole time. And I think if you watch Strange New Worlds, it's proof of that. It's a great show. It dives into some more lore and fun things in Star Trek, and you get to see the Enterprise and Spock, a decent Spock, but and there's a musical episode which is actually pretty fun. But anyway, but I don't have much else to say about this movie except that it's, again, my favorite Star Trek, and it's going to go down in history as probably being the best, I would hope and think.
Yeah. And like you said, it's probably the best game changer out of all the ones. Like, the other ones are enjoyable. Like, it's funny, I heard this other movie commentator talk about like 1, 3, and 5 are not very good, but 2, 4, 6, for some reason with Star Trek, they all, like, the evens were really decent movies. Like the Undiscovered Country, maybe we'll get into that one. That one's pretty good. That one's kind of closer, more related to like the Star Trek The Next Generation, and that would have been during that same time period when they made that movie.
Yep.
One thing I was going to say that I remembered is we would go to our public library.
Oh yeah.
And so we, growing up, there was certain, we didn't own a lot of movies, but go to the public library. I swear, I would look for that movie every time, and I would, I don't know how many times I got that movie to take home. Definitely, I watched that one the most. It was my favorite one to bring home from the library if it was available.
My favorite one to sleep to was the motion picture. The music actually in it is pretty good, and I just will fall asleep from the beginning of it.
To the motion picture, bong, bong.
Wow, and you're like, yep. Yeah. But
well,
V'ger. Well, hey, it was good to chat with you about this movie, but our next one, I think, is going to be another sci-fi, but I'm gonna let you all just wonder about what it is, because I think it's a good one. It's probably one of my favorite sci-fis that I discovered later in life, well past due. It's actual. I didn't grow up with it, and I don't think Lance grew up with it, but we'll talk about it.
I have no idea. I can't even remember. I don't even know, folks. I don't even know until we're going to review it. So,
But anyway, well, hey, everybody. Remember, like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Like and subscribe to Past Due Movie Reviews, and catch all of our shorts of our episode. They're lots of fun. We do lots of different things. And follow us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll see you later. All right? Peace out.
peace out.
All right.
No, you can't get away. From hell's heart, I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath.